It's that time once again of the week with another brand new episode of Beyond Expectation Podcast with the two most favorite co-hosts in the entire world. As always, I got my boy Brett, the White Rhino, and me, myself, Eduardo. Now, today, he is no stranger to the podcast. He's been on here before, and he's come on once again. Without no further ado, we got the homeboy Skypp up here in the virtual studio. How's it going, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm happy to be here. How y'all doing?
Doing good,
Doing
man.
good.
How about yourself?
I'm doing great, man. I can't complain about anything, man. Life's good.
That's good. That's what's up.
It
That's
looks
what's...
like you're doing great, man. I've been, looking at your Instagram and it looks like everything's going good in Skip's world.
Man, I can't complain. Like I said, I'm just finally seeing the fruits of my labor, man. And
Yes.
I'm grateful for it.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. So definitely, my boy Brett said here that there's been a lot going on. Obviously, from the last time we touched bases with you up until now. Just tell us what you kind of been up to since the last time we spoke on the last episode, man. Like what's new, what's popping. We definitely want to talk about your new project, fourth solo album here coming out. So yeah, let's get into it, man. Let the people know what's up.
Yeah, last time we spoke, man, we were pushing the King of Indiana album, which did pretty good. It reached top 15 on the iTunes chart. So,
nice.
I think with that, we had Rhyme Fest on the album, which is a pretty dope thing to be able to do. And now we done moved on. We had a little hiccup since we talked. I was dealing with an executive, and it slowed down my momentum a lot. So I'm just trying to regain my momentum, and that's what I'm doing with this new album. It's called Sorry for My Trauma, and I recently released the lead single called My HLF. HLF stands for Homie Lover Friend. I released that song, and it's doing extremely well. I've never been a singles guy. I've always been like a complete album. I want people to hear the storyline, but I made this album and I put this song on there in particular just so I can have that single, that I can push before the album, something that's not pulling a piece of the album out of the storyline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This record in particular was designed for this. So it's been doing really good, man. And Sorry for My Trauma is releasing February 3rd. It might already be out by the time some of y'all watch this interview, but it's looking up, man. It's looking up.
It's, so HLF is your single.
Yeah.
And that's is that a sample from Genuine?
Yeah, Pony. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what I heard that, and it took me back to high school, and I could not stop listening.
I turned a completely sexual, explicit song into a love song.
Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And people, if you haven't heard it yet, go to Skip's Instagram at Skypp SKYPP 317, and it's in there, and it's amazing. And by the time it releases on Friday, right? Next Friday.
The album releases next Friday. The single's already out. Yeah.
Yes. Single's already out. Album releases next Friday, which is the day that this will air. So for a lot of listeners, it's today. So yeah, go out. What I've been seeing, I just love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, same thing with the song, man. I heard it for the first time. Honestly, and I'm really picky, man. I could say what people say, like an old head. I'm 33, about to turn 34 this year, and I'm very picky when it comes to just rap, hip hop in general, right? But when I heard this cut, man, I'm like, okay, Skip's doing it. That's what's up. I hear the sample from Genuine's Up Pony. I'm like, okay, I feel it. It was good, man. It was good. I definitely messed with it, dude, and I've been playing it a couple of times, and I actually let my wife listen to it. She liked it, so I was like, "Hey, it's doing this thing, man. It's doing this thing."
Thank you,
man. On the way.
Baby making music, man. 2023 style,
So you just said though that you ran into a little bit of a hiccup. Is that going back to I believe it was Tribe Called Quest, industry rule, what 10,080? Is that what the rule was? The industry is shady.
I try not to speak on things when I don't know the full extent of it. I don't know what exactly happened that made the situation fall through. So it may be an entire explanation behind that. I don't really know. So I don't want to speak on it too much, but from the perspective of me, I just felt like it was a complete waste of time. You know what I mean? And I could have been doing so much to further my brand. And I feel like they just came into my life and just tried to ruin everything. You know what I mean? Just stop my momentum and just waste my time, man. So
do you think though that by going through that was almost like, you know, I know that some of the adversities I've been through, it sucks going through it, but then in hindsight, I'm looking at it like, damn, I'm really glad I went through that. As hard as it was going through that, I learned a lot.
I mean, I always try to see the bright side of everything. Like, for instance, if I would have released Sorry for My Trauma March 4th of last year, like I was supposed to,
Mhm.
it wouldn't have been as good as it is now. I will say
Yes.
that.
There
Not
we
nearly
go.
as good, actually. And I mean, I got to experience what it's like to deal with an executive, which is something I can't say that I've ever been able to do. You know, just how patient you have to be and how frustrating it can be. You know, so I learned that in the process also. So now I know what to look forward to and what to expect next time around. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, it's some positives to take away from it, but nonetheless, man, I'm blessed. I got over it. You know, I got
For
over it
sure.
fairly quick too.
Sure.
For sure.
You know, I just I'm very particular about my journey and about my momentum and about, you know, just doing the best that I can do to further the
Mm-hmm.
brand of Skip. So whenever it's altered or, you know, tainted in any kind of way, like it really bothers me because I put a lot of work into what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I just hate when people try to come through and like alter it and, you know, or take credit for it or whatever people do, you know.
Sure. Sure. But you took it was a Megan Thee Stallion
Oh,
instrumental, and I was laughing so hard because you killed it. You killed it. Oh man. And then it's just the video. You made this video. I just love it, man. And I'm just thinking, you know what? This, like, more people need to hear this because it is just like I feel so good listening to your music. And of course, you know, Eddie and I had the pleasure and the honor to interview you prior to this. And you know, last time we talked, you know, you were walking around, and it was really just kind of it was a very interesting interview because, you know, you're just walking around, and it was like we were literally living in the day in the life of Skip, you
yeah,
know. And you talked about just some really personal, some hard things going on about um people being hurt, you know, the things that you're trying to do, but the things that you're seeing, knowing that, you know, a lot of the people you're working with today could end up dead, gone tomorrow. And I just, it's something that a lot of people don't get to experience and don't get to see. And when you see that you just persevere through all of it, I don't think people know what it takes to get through all of that. You
yeah,
know, there's a toll that comes with that.
man. Yeah, absolutely, man. My buddy always tells me that struggle is like one of the biggest blessings. And back when I was in the heat of the struggle, like the height of my struggle, I didn't understand that when he said that. But his perspective is basically struggling is like an honor. It's
Mm,
like, man, like what do we have without struggle? Like what do we appreciate without struggle? You know what I mean? Like our perspectives are shattered, our gratefulness is shattered if we don't know what it's like to be down because it's the sweetest feeling when you're up.
yeah.
You've been
Yeah.
down before. You know, and I wasn't hearing that back then. I'm like, bro, I'm tired of this. Like, I don't want to struggle. I don't care what it's going, how good it's gonna feel later. But now I see what he meant. And now I see
Hmm.
the beauty in the struggle, like J. Cole said. It is beauty in the struggle, you know, like in the midst of it is not, but in hindsight, it actually is, you know.
Hmm.
So
For
we just
sure.
as human beings, it's hard to grasp that when you're in the heat of it, but
Yeah.
just give it some time.
Definitely. And just
Yeah.
kind of to add to what Brett was saying a little bit before, it's almost like, you know, there's that quote they say, a small setbacks due for a major comeback.
Right.
And with that, I think this is pretty much it shows result in what's happening now with your single out, this album about to drop here. When this comes out February 3rd, I believe that's what we said, right? And it's gonna be beautiful, man, because like you said, they're really that feeling that you get once you overcome something. If you don't go through something to struggle it, that appreciative feeling to get from that, it's not there. So it's like, what is life without that, right? And I think
Right.
it builds you as a person as well. To you just, I guess, you're more I would say aware of the situation you go through in life lessons, you know, so you can remember as you're pushing forward that, you
Right.
know, this is where I'm at from all this that I've overcome. So I definitely agree, man, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So Yeah, I'm looking at your album. You've got, or the back of your album, you have 12 tracks.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about what went into making this album.
Well, the track list is it's basically in hypo. I'm sorry. The track list is basically in chronological order. So it starts when I'm a child. This first song is called Ghetto Child. And it starts with my childhood, maybe like 6 or 7 years old. By the end of the album, you're at like my 19th, 20th year of life. So it goes in chronological order. It starts off with Ghetto Child, then it goes into what I witnessed as a child, which was liquor and depression. My family is a lot of alcohol abuse, substance abuse in my family. Goes into Inner City Blues, which is where I start trying to get away from, the traumas and the alcohol abuse. So I was in the streets, not necessarily as an adult yet, but just out there with my friends, just running around trying to get away from the reality I lived in. And then it just goes Indigo, catching the Indigo bus. Indigo is the transit bus in our city. And it just goes. Okay. So I can't remember exactly the track list, but the story.
Yeah. And then after that, you got Self-Sufficient.
Self-sufficient, and that's when I start growing into myself. Now I'm becoming self-sufficient. I'm not affected by the trauma as much as I was. I'm growing into who I want to be. And if I'm not mistaken, after that it goes into Hungry on the East Side.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, that's where I'm from, the East Side. So I'm self-sufficient, but it's a struggle. It's a nonstop struggle, but I'm able to deal with it. But it's still check to check. It's still hard trying to get by. You know what I mean? And this is at about 17 years old. So then we go into
we got something good.
Now this is where the woman in my life comes in. Now this is where I get some stability because I got somebody that can help, that can strengthen me, that can help me. And then after that, it goes into my HLF, which is the sweet side of love. We got something good. It's talking about the traumas I have in my life and how it affects my relationship. That's what we got something good is about. It's a love song, but it's like it really pulls at the heartstrings because it's talking about the struggles of a Black man in a relationship and how we can be toxic in ways because of our upbringing, stuff like that. Goes into my HLF, and then it goes into Real Wicked. This is where I'm in the streets now, like hustling, in the streets. Yeah. And then it goes into Lost from Lost, and that's where all the death comes in. Driveway is at the end of the day, I'm glad I made it home to the driveway.
Wow.
And then my real name is Byron. It's just the whole thing in one, like just going from top to bottom, saying everything I forgot to say in those first 11 songs, bringing it all the way full circle. So it's like a chronological order. And I'm going to do Sorry for My Trauma too. And we're going to go from 19, 20 years old to where I am now.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is incredible. That's beautiful and artistic.
Definitely.
And and just hearing that, I'm just at the edge of my seat for February 3rd.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like literally a book with different chapters, just all the way through from beginning all the way to the middle of the story, and it's just going to proceed on. That's awesome, man. I like that there's that behind it. Not just, just saying, right? There's people that can just put an album together, they just give it out, boom, that's that. But it's like there's something behind this where it's like true meaning to this. Like every track is like linked to one story to another, and it all makes sense towards the very, as it goes to the last track. So that's awesome, man. That's dope. That's
Thanks,
really
man.
dope.
I try to do that for every album. King of Indiana had a story behind it too, so I try to always put some purpose behind the music. I don't want to just throw out music and say, hey, dance to this, or hey, listen to this. I want to give you some kind of storyline, some kind of experience, put you in my shoes for a minute.
For sure.
So reading, about you a little bit, you have done appearances with people like DMX, Babyface, Mystical. Tell us about some of that. Like, so you got to see DMX, huh? Yeah. And he's, no longer with us.
All right.
What was that like with him?
Yeah, DMX, man, he was a very talkative person. I will say that. I just remember I didn't have very many interactions with him because, I'm kind of a standoffish guy in public, and I don't mean to be, but maybe it's the trauma. I don't know. I just have a hard time just freeing myself in front of people. Sure. I can do it with my loved ones and, my close friends, but when I'm in public and I'm around a bunch of people I don't know, I just can't do it. And DMX was the total opposite. And it made me so uncomfortable. I,
Oh,
I got to be
wow.
honest. I was just like, man, how can he do that? He's just so free. He's praying for people backstage, just like, hey, man, you look like you got some darkness on you, man. Let me pray for you and just bust out praying. Like just so
Wow.
open, man. And I know that's like experience, years and years of experience he had over me. But I admired it, man. I admired the courage, man. I just admire that. I admire it, man. He's just a great
Do
human being.
you Is that something you'd want to do then? Is be more open?
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
would like to be how I am around my people, around everyone else, because around my people, I'm just like in this school, I've grown into it. I'm used to being here. I'm used to the people, and they know a
Mhm.
side of me that the public doesn't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I see the joy it brings to their lives and the joy it brings to my life. So I would love to be able to do that everywhere instead of just in comfortable places. I see the effect it can have.
Yeah.
For sure.
I just want to share just a quick story about just what you said. It just, I'm a kind of a spiritual guy, and I don't think anything is an accident. And today, like walking out of work, right before I'm coming to this interview, I talked to a man, and complete stranger, never met him. And he was about my age, black guy about my age. And he just came out and started talking to me. I said, "Hey, yeah, what's up?" And he's sharing about his day. And of course it's Friday, so we're just saying, hey, we're ready to get this weekend started. But anyway, so then we started talking, and the conversation got a little bit deeper. And he says, I am a Navy veteran, and I served, but I went through a lot of trauma, and it took years of counseling. And my counselor told me that I'm an introvert, that I stand uh, too into myself, and that I need to work through that by meeting 10 people a day. So that his counselor challenged him to meet 10 new people a day and just shake their hand, get to know them, meet them. And he said that actually helped. So, like,
Mhm.
and then you share this thing about DMX, and of course, we've heard his stories about all the trauma that he had been through, and here he is now praying for people. So somewhere along the way he learned that as well. And
Yeah.
I just think that's incredible. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
wow.
I'm taking something from this, and I appreciate that. I'm taking something from it. I start back my therapy sessions next month, so in the next week or two. It's been a minute. I had to stop for about a year, but I'm looking forward to getting back into it. And that's an idea I might bring into the session and see what my therapist thinks, because
Yeah.
it's a pretty dope idea, and I see enough people to where I can just speak to strangers and stuff like that.
Hmm. And and just because you have a platform, you are somebody who's making a name for themselves. I don't think you realize how much of an impact that's going to make on somebody, on a complete stranger. Like, man, I was sitting there having the worst day, and just out of nowhere, Skip comes over and just started talking to me, and this universe is crazy, and how it works and how it connects, and we're all connected in some weird way, and we don't know it until it happens. And if you do that, I guarantee you are going to make a life memory for somebody, for multiple people.
I've had a lot of situations where I'd be out and a person would speak to me, and
Hmm.
sometimes as a human being, I don't realize who I am to people. I just
Mhm.
have no way of knowing that. So I could be anywhere. Like I was at Walmart 2 days ago. I was on my lunch break and I went to Walmart to get I think I got some lunch or something. And there's a guy behind me and he was like, "Yo, can I get your autograph?" He was being sarcastic. So I look back and I'm like, kind of uncomfortable because, like I said, I'm looking at him like he like, "You Skip, ain't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Man, my guy be posting your stuff on Facebook all the time. I didn't peep a lot of your videos and checked you out." And I'm just like, I wish I could respond to him the way he probably would appreciate. You know what I mean? But I was more so just like, "Oh, I appreciate that, man. Thank you, man." And that was the end of it. But
Yeah.
I could have took that so much further. You know what I mean? I could have. There's no telling what would have made his day.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I just got to get out of that box, man. I got to get out of
Yep.
that box.
No, no, and you're such a genuine person. I'm looking at the skits that you said you were at Walmart, and I was looking at one of your skits on Instagram.
Yeah.
You're getting toilet paper, you're filling it with toilet paper,
Yeah.
and that's how I would picture, how it would go at Walmart. Hey, you skip,
Yeah,
you're like, hey man, let
definitely.
me shop.
That was funny. Those are good ones, man. Yeah, but it's so you mentioned that you work at at a school. So how did that come about? Because the last time I think we chopped it up, I don't think you were doing that. So how did that come about, and what got you into that position, man?
Oh, yeah, I've been working in the school since 2014.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
I started at my alma mater at my high school that I graduated from. I was there for 4 years. Then I left that school to come to this school. I've been here for 4 years. So I mean, I've been doing it. I mean, the thing about it is I'd be on and off full time. So for
Okay.
like maybe for out of these 8 years I've been in the schools, I probably work full time, maybe half of that. You know,
Mm,
I'd be going in and out because I have busy parts of my music career where I can't work every day. And then I don't know, as I get older, I'm just like, man, I want to make time for the kids more than I want to make time for myself. So
Mm,
now I'm back full time and I'm trying to balance everything. Like I'm kind of in my prime right now with music. So, and, it's real demanding, but I feel like at this point in my life, I can't make everything about me anymore. Something I have to be giving something back to the world. So that's what I try to do with working in schools. I don't know. I could do better with that too.
yeah.
Yeah, just personality wise, I could be doing better. I do great in here. I do great things, but I know I can offer so much more. And
mm,
For
yeah,
sure,
I've
man.
been in the school system for 8 years now.
8 years, 8 years. Dang. Well,
wow.
that's good, man. I mean, I see it a lot that you're really engaged with your students, and it's very awesome to see that. It's almost like you just said it yourself that you really want to do something good for the world, and that's really having a good relationship with all these kids. Because I mean, it's just with everything happening in this world, the world's crazy right now. With everything going on and all that, and it takes just certain individuals as yourself to really kind of steer kids in the right direction, and try to be a positive influence. So
Yeah.
that's something I admire, man, and I have total respect for you, bro. That you're doing something like that and actually taking initiative to be put on that position to do so. So, man, that's awesome to hear. And on top of that, it's also cool to see them react to your music, your hit single, and them doing their dances and all that. I'm
Yes.
like, it's
Yeah.
so dope to see that, man. And I love seeing stuff like that play out, man.
Man, being honest, if I'm being honest, if you listen to my music before my HLF and before Sorry for My Trauma, because this is
Mhm.
released on the release date. So if you're listening to my music for the first time after this interview or before, you're going to hear a different skit. So this skit was influenced by my students. When I started
Mm,
working in the school system, I made a brand of hip hop that the youth could not appreciate. At first, I wanted to try to make them like it, but then I realized like you can't make anyone like anything. So I came down, well, not down, but I just met them where they were. So
mhm.
what you're going to
Mm.
hear is a brand of my music. It's still me. I'm not compromising anything,
Yeah.
but I just kind of twisted my sound a little bit so that it's more relatable to the youth, but it's also still appreciated for the adults. You know what I mean? Something they can
Yeah.
still appreciate. So even with my HLF, like I've never been that melodic. I don't think I've ever been that melodic in my life.
Mhm.
But the adults can still appreciate it. One, for the sample.
For
Two,
sure.
for the content. Like I'm not being ignorant. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to make it sound like thug love or none of that. Like it's genuine for me, like my
Yeah.
lifestyle. So the kids influenced me to make my and I could call it growing my sound. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
some people probably would say I'm dumbing it down, but I feel like I'm growing it. Expansion can never be dumbing down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to show people that I can make any brand of music, any style of music. Like I've always been a versatile artist, and I don't think I showcase that enough. For instance, King of Indiana was like hardcore hip hop. I've
Yep.
never released an album that was hardcore hip hop. That was my first time doing that.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's always been like a unique sound that was a blend of every kind of hip hop. But King of
Is
Indiana, it was like far right, and this is like far left. Two
yeah.
Mm.
totally different sounds. You know what I mean?
Isn't that kind of fun though to be able to
Yeah,
like do that and say, hey, as an artist, this is what I did before. I've proven that I can do it. Now I'm gonna go here.
Yeah, that's the most fun part. When I first started writing "Sorry for My Trauma," it was a hip hop album. I was trying to follow up King of Indiana, and my buddy came over. He was listening, and he's like, "Yeah, this is good. This is real good." And then I think I slipped up and played a song that wasn't going to be on anything. It was just a melodic song. And for years, my buddy has been trying to get me to make music like this. We heard that song, and he's like, bro, scratch everything you play for me and just make an album like this.
Whoa.
So I'm like, man, like from my mature way of thinking, I'm like, bro, you can't beat pure hip hop. You can't. And he's just like, just give me this album. Just give it to me one time, bro. Give me an album full of these type of songs. And I had a whole folder of beats from the Megalodon. The Megalodon is the person who produced my HLF. It was also had some post production done by Zero, the composer, and Howie. But yeah, I dove into that bag and I dove into that folder. The Megalodon, they sent me that folder like 3 years ago. I never touched any of those beats because I just wasn't on that sound. And I opened that folder and I let my buddy hear all those beats. He started picking out, yep, do that one, do that one. And man, I made 95 songs and
Are you serious?
Yeah, I made 95 songs and picked 12. So
95.
So technically, Sorry for My Trauma 2 is already done.
Wow.
Technically, I'll have to go through and clean some stuff up. I might add a couple songs just to add some depth. But I got so many songs, man. I can release an album every month of this year if I really want.
Is there anything you plan on going beyond music? Do you have plans to go beyond music and do different platforms, different areas?
Well, I wanted to open up my own school eventually. But, musically, I've been actually battling these thoughts for a while. I don't like speaking failure on my life, so I'm not going to do that. But someday I'll probably end up being some sort of music manager, executive, PR, anything to help artists from my city in particular get through that door. I understand that I can't be the main focus. I can't be the star forever. Eventually, I gotta pass the baton. So I'm actually looking forward to that. I don't know when it's gonna happen. I don't know where my career is gonna go from here. Hopefully, and God willing, it's only up. But one day I'm going to be the guy to put people in position instead of being a guy trying to get in position.
The kingmaker.
The kingmaker.
I really want to do that. I've been having a label forever. I've never done anything with my label or my company. Literally nothing. It's just sitting there, and I got to put it to use. So I want to open a school. I want to open some side businesses, but I also want to use it for what it was made for initially, which is putting people in position.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, man, that's all good stuff, dude. And like I said, from what we've been seeing you put in work and just seeing, like from the last time we touched bases and up until now, man, you've been doing work and with this new album, and then you're talking about doing 95 songs and then switching your style to where you're trying different styles, right? And just being versatile. And I mean, you've seen enough from other artists that some are risk takers and just some stick to the same sound. And it's like, just in life in general, if you're not going to take a risk to go and do something, I mean, you're never going to know. And luckily, I think it's going to play out with this new single. You said it's doing good, so I mean, it definitely, it was worth it in the end,
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, during the process of making these new sounding songs, I knew that this was going to happen. I was very ignorant, and I was very ignorant in the manner of like ignoring this style of music. I was ignoring it on purpose because I knew it was going to be too easy to make this kind of music. Like, it's just like fun music is easy because it takes no thought.
Yeah.
So going into it, I knew I'm not going to say going into it. I didn't know until I made the music and I sat back and listened. And I'm like, oh yeah. Why did I wait this long? Do this, you know what I mean? And I knew then, I was like, yeah, they're gonna love this.
But you know what you did, Skypp? You took that style of music that you just said was simple, and it's also, as someone who grew up with 90s hip hop, East Coast, West Coast, and the real hip hop. It's been very hard for me myself to get into it. But you know what you did is you added depth to it. You added depth to this new sound. So this new sound that you just said is so simple, so simple. You added depth to it, and that's the growth. You were just talking about your students helped you grow. Your music grew.
Yeah.
And I really hope that, for one, that everybody can hear this album, but also I hope I see this as the type of an album that influences other artists, that what, maybe we do need to add more depth to this music, and and really start to, dude, this could steer the whole industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You know what? I finished this album. Well, what it was going to be initially, I finished it in like February of last year, and I had the release date March 4th. I don't remember when Kendrick dropped his album. It was sometime in 2022, but I listened and I'm like, man, this is full of trauma. I had never heard anybody make an album full of trauma before I wrote Sorry for My Trauma, and I thought it was just so ironic. God, this man comes out with a trauma-filled album. You know what I mean? So that really bothered me. But then I had to sit back and realize, like, first of all, it's two totally different sounds. And second of all, you cannot put trauma in a box. Everybody's trauma is different.
Yes.
So, yeah. Yes. So I had to stop beating myself up. But it's been so many times where I come up with an idea that I've never heard anybody do before. And then it's always the biggest star. And he just does it. And it's just like, oh, he busted the door down. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, that's what's up. Maybe it'll work in my benefit. Maybe him busting that door down helps me. Maybe I wouldn't have been able to do it on my own. So it's all right.
You're very humble. I mean, you just talking to you, it's like, what I see is I just see massive amount of talent, and then I'm talking to you and you're just so humble with everything, and it's just like, if I had that much talent, I'd be telling everybody, I'd be showing up to interviews in fur jackets, like, let's do this.
Going on. Yeah, for sure. But Brett, I want to add to what you said a little bit earlier. It adds meaning to the music, and I think that's important. I think for me, I have to look at the depth of from where the artist is coming from, the build up to when they release albums like this, and you enough, Skypp. And like I say, man, it's very rare for me, especially, to really stand behind an artist that like, if I were to come across some, right, you have a story to tell. And if anybody's curious to hear more about this, check the previous episode with Skypp and listen to this one. I mean, I can just tell right off the bat, we're talking about growth. We're talking about evolution, evolving, going up. And, with new sounds, thinking like, dang, this was in front of me this whole time and I'm just barely doing it. I think it's almost like it's the perfect moment for it to happen, because, you don't want to force something creative as this. You don't really want to, like, jump in it too quick. You want to let it marinate and build up. And I think this is where we're at right now with this album coming out. And timing isn't everything. Timing is literally everything. So I feel like this is the right moment for all this to happen, man. And it's so awesome to hear that with everything going on, it's almost like it's taking bits and pieces of everything that you're going through to put into this album, and you're going to release it for people to hear. So, hey, man, I'm really looking forward for this as well, because it's just the meaning behind it itself makes me want to listen to it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man.
Do you have any tours lined up? Anything?
I don't, man. Things have been so much different since COVID for independent artists in particular. I had some things on the table before COVID, some big things, man. And it's just like, once that happened, and it's like people just got turned off to the idea of helping independent artists, because it's already a big risk as it is.
Gotcha.
But when the world changed like that, man, it's just, I don't know, man. It just fell through. And I'm talking about big things. I had people coming to me like, hey, how much money does it take for you to make it? Whatever your definition is of make it, how much money does it take? I had people ready to give me whatever number I said. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about, this is February of 2020. Next month, the world is shut down.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of hit, their money took from their, their businesses may have dwindled away. I don't know what happened, but it really affected the world in a major way, like even the smallest of people. So I say that to say, man, I think things would be different right now if that never occurred. So there's no tours or anything in the works, but you never know what life will throw at you. You know what I mean?
If the universe throws at you a tour or a venue in Seattle, something in Seattle, we are gonna be there. We want to be there. We want you. We want Skypp in Seattle.
Yeah, man, for sure. We'll definitely be there. You'll see the dynamic duo chilling right there. You know, front seats and just kicking back. All right. Let's see greatness in front of us. You know, and just jam out, man. That's what's
also, man, as independent artists, we have to stop sitting back waiting on people to put us in position. We can put ourselves in position technically, man. You know, it takes nothing to reach out to people like yourselves. Like, hey, do you guys know of any hip hop venues, you know, or venues that's open to rap? And I can just rent it out and I can come down there and, you know, rock out. Maybe invite some Seattle hip hop artists to perform on a bill with me. They bring out their crowds. You know, stuff like that is doable. It's not outlandish.
For
you
sure.
know,
Absolutely.
I don't know. That's some things I got to really like tap into, and you know, not be so afraid to jump into those battlefields.
Yeah. Well, I know. I mean, I guess the money is always a risk, but as far as talent goes, you've got the sound, you've got the message. As far as I'm concerned, you've got the total package. Yeah, so you've got two fans here. For sure.
Yes,
and we cannot wait for everyone else beyond expectation listeners. You guys are listening. February 3rd. Sorry for the trauma. 12 tracks, in depth, melodic. You're gonna hear it.
Yes. All that and more, man. All that and more. Yeah, man. Definitely. We're looking forward to it as well, bro. And also we don't want to take up too much of your time because I bet you got stuff to do. And also, so you got a listening party too, correct? It's going to be, I think by this time it comes out, listening party has already taken place. So talk a little bit about that as well, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I always do listening parties. So what I do is I get a venue. I make it very small, intimate. And I have these little papers. Oh, I got my blur mode on. You can't see it. But the paper is basically like a S4MT listening session. So it got each song one by one. It has a scale of 10. You know, you rate your songs however you want to. And it has a notes section. So you put your notes like, hey, I felt this way about this song. This song could have used this, you know, blah, blah, whatever, however you feel. And at the end of the listening session, I pull out the camera and I get people to give their testimonials. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we're here at the Skypp listening party. I just heard the Sorry for My Trauma album early, man. I just want to say Skypp, you know, and turn these into like documentaries, turn these into social media content. Every little thing is worthy of being seen. You know what I mean? So I always do these listening sessions. Last time I did one was for You For You, which was 2019. And social media wasn't quite where it is now then. So I didn't take advantage of the event like I should have. But trust me, this time around, I would not take for granted the content that comes from an event like this. You know what I mean?
How can people interested in checking out your music, your social media, how can they get in touch with you?
Officialskypp.com. You can really get on there for everything. You can find every piece of music I've made. You can find social media. You can find a biography, press that I've done. That's the one-stop shop. So official skypp.com. SKYPP317 is my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and you know, Facebook is just SKYPP. But I'm everywhere. You know, I'm not hard to find at all. There's no other SKYPPs making music. So if you search it into any DAW or whatever, you're gonna find me. When I make albums, I do my SEO searches and make sure nobody makes albums. So I'm very easy to find. You know, you're not gonna find any other title, Sorry for My Trauma, or anything else for that matter. So I make it very easy for you guys. All you gotta do is type a couple buttons and I'm there. I'm there for you.
I love it. You've done your due diligence.
Also, last but not least, before we come close on this episode, that little did you have like a little mini concert or something? Like everybody was rocking out to the hit single, man. How was that? I mean, I just everybody kind of vibing out to that song. I don't know if it took place at the school that you're at or what, but I mean, it was a good vibe, man, from what I saw.
Yeah, I got invited to perform at a homecoming, high school
homecoming. Okay.
Dope.
Yeah, so by that time they already knew the song front to back, so it was just that energy was insane. So they didn't know I was going to perform. So it was a surprise performance, and it was a couple people that performed before me, and they were loving those guys, and they thought it was over. And then the DJ turned on my HLF, and they just went bonkers. They went bonkers. So I crept on stage real smooth and just put on a good show for the kids. Man, they loved it, and I loved it also.
That's cool, man. Well, we're seeing you're hitting on TV, and you're making radio appearances as well.
Oh yeah, I've been heavy on the radios for the last like 10 years, honestly. Especially in my hometown. Yeah.
And are you doing any other podcasts?
I've reached out to a few people here in my hometown, and a few people that I met the last go round with King of Indiana. I have about 4 or 5 appearances here in the next week or two. I got a couple TV stations that I'm supposed to link up with also, but I'm trying to do my own thing with the PR this time around because it can be very pricey. So yeah, I mean, I got some things here and there. Hopefully, as I keep going, things will start making their way towards me, and I can probably, attract a couple podcasts and whatever else,
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, if there's ever anything you need from us, let us know. Give us a call, and anything we can do to help you along your way, you got us.
Definitely, man. We'll definitely help you out. We'll plug up everything that you have in regards to links to fully direct you to where they can find your music and all that stuff. And we'll also plug up all the links when this video drops in the description of the video down below, where it's just one click away. Boom, you're taken directly to your music catalog and all that stuff. So with that being said, Skypp, what do you want to say to all the people that are going to watch this video, listen to this audio? What do you want to let them know about the album and just any more future stuff that you got coming out? Right now's the time, man.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to all the people out there who support independent music, the people who watch interviews like this and they take the initiative to go and actually check out the people that they're watching, rather than just leaving it where it is. You see stuff like this, and if it makes you feel any kind of certain way positively, just check it out, and shout out to the people. I don't even have to ask to do that. That's one of the dopest things in the world, for you to give your time to something that benefits you in no way. It's so dope to support people in that manner. So we appreciate you. As an independent artist, I appreciate you, and I'm nothing without you. So I just want to say thank you. Sorry for My Trauma will be out by the time you see this. It is Sorry, the number 4, My Trauma. And I think you'll really enjoy it. So go check it out.
Definitely.
I got goosebumps. I'm excited.
So with that being said, peeps, you can catch this wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, and YouTube for the video of this. And like I said before, we'll plug up all of Skypp's links there, so you'll be redirected to all his music that's available. And yeah, go check his stuff out. Awesome artist. But we'll catch you in the next one. Hopefully everybody has a fantastic Friday and weekend. Till then, peace.
Peace.
Peace.